What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, we are diving into the Great League Remix Cup, which is awesome. It bans the top 20 Pokemon from the Great League meta, so a lot of your favorites like Registeel, Noctowl, Medicham, they're all gone, and it opens up the door for somewhat of a new meta, and I think this is one of the fan favorites out there. Let me know down in the comments if you guys agree or disagree, but I think if we're talking about specialty cups, this is the most anticipated Great League Cup because it just freshens up the Great League meta. Now today I'm bringing Dunsparce, Charizard, and Clefable, all three of which are very strong in their own right in the Open Great League and obviously excel now in the Remix Cup. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this team and what Pokemon and teams are you guys bringing to the Remix Cup, and because I want to try to give them a try. I think I need to start trying YouTube comment teams to see how well they perform. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Dunsparce on the lead versus Dugong, another very strong Pokemon that got the update with Drill Run, and they decide to swap out into a Dubwool. So what I'm noticing here is this is two Pokemon weak to fighting type moves, so I'm guessing there is an anti-fighter in the back, but I need to swap into Clefable now. We're going to be resisting the double kick, which is the fast move here, and they also can't go for payback if they are running it. They're going to have to body slam spam, while Moonblast here does do a lot of neutral damage, and we do land it, which is perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and let these go through. If it's Wild Charge, so be it, but it is just going to be body slam, so we should be able to survive too, and then we'll get them into a very crucial situation here. I'm going to go ahead and no shield. I can't farm down really with Fairy Wind as the fast move, so what I want to try to do is play the shield game. If they decide to shield and try to take switch, so be it. But they decide to no shield, which is fine. And now Dugong is going to be coming back in, and thankfully we are so tanky. Clefable, I happen to have a really good PvP IV over there. Clefable is just going to put in work today as we do land the Meteor Mash. Now we come in right away with Dunsparce and go for the Rock Slide as we did have it loaded. This does do super effective damage, and we get a shield from our opponent. So now we're in a very good position where Icy Wind isn't going to KO us, so I can safely let this go and try to go for another Rock Slide, but they do decide to swap into Gliscor. So there is that anti-fighter we were talking about, and thankfully the Charizard versus Gliscor matchup is going to be a bit more favorable to us because we do have two shields. If this was in the one shield, we might be in a bit of trouble because they are ahead on energy. So now this is going to be tough. I have to double shield, obviously, stop the Night Slash damage. They get no boost, which is good, and now I need to go for the Dragon Claw shield bait because I really want to have energy on the back end, but they decide to no shield it, so now I'm going to go for another Dragon Claw, and I think we can win the race to their Night Slash and our Dragon Claw. I think I'm only 2 away, but they decide to let it go, which is fine, and now Dugong coming back in. I'm going to go ahead and go for Blast Burn. Either Blast Burn or Rock Slide is what's going to be taking out the Dugong. They do decide to shield, so I'm going to go ahead and swap out right away and go for the Rock Slide on CMP tie, which is perfect because we cleared the debuff from Icy Wind. Rock Slide does do super effective damage, and they decided to surrender at the same time of throwing the charge move right there. So good battle, very well played. But yeah, really great timing there. I was a bit concerned about Shadow Gliscor, obviously, but we were able to overcome. All right, we got Dunsparce versus Shadow Alolan Marowak, the GOAT right here. Very favorable matchup for us, even though this is Fire Spin. They decide to swap out into Drapion. They made a beautiful swap, and I could have, oh man, I could have gone for a free Drill Run right here. Both do super effective damage to Alolan Marowak, but unfortunately for me, I threw the Rock Slide instead of Drill Run. So we're going to go ahead and go for Drill Run now against the Drapion, as it will do super effective damage. And then we'll have to see what moveset they have here. I am concerned about a potential Sludge Bomb, so I'm going to go ahead and shield, and it's going to be Crunch. So my guess is they actually have Crunch Aqua Tail, so I'm going to go ahead and load up on energy, look to try to get another Drill Run to land, or get the final shield. I'll have to give up another shield here as well. Defenses have dropped dramatically, so I'm going to need to swap out here soon as I do go for Drill Run now. They decide to let it go. Boom. All right. Now we have the Alolan Marowak coming back in, and they go for a charge move right away. This was not enough for Fire Blast, so it means it's going to be Bone Club, which we do survive, even after having, well, Bone Club's just a terrible move in general, to be honest, but we were double debuffed from Crunch. So now we're going to swap into Charizard to get ahead on energy, as they will be able to get to a Shadow Bone, but thankfully we can survive this charge move right here, even though it just does so much damage, and we do get to Blast Burn in time. And then now we're going to have to see what their final Pokemon is. The Drapion it was gone, sorry. Moltres now coming back in. For a second there, I thought Drapion was still in the game. I did these battles earlier today. But now we have a unique situation where this Moltres has Brave Bird. So, I am fully trusting in Clefable's PvP IV. So, I'm going to CMP tie with Meteor Mash. I'm fully trusting, and we survive! Come on now, Clefable, so tanky. And Meteor Mash now, because of the Brave Bird debuff, it does neutral damage, and boom, one-shots the Moltres, so that is going to be a good battle. Really fun team from my opponent right there. I loved the unique Pokemon. This is what I was talking about. With the ban to the top meta Pokemon, you see a lot of unique stuff. Alright, we got Galvantula here on the lead. Pokemon that our whole team can handle very well, actually. And we do see a swap out now into Shadow Quagsire, another Pokemon that is very deadly with its recent update. Not only for Mud Bomb getting increased damage, but it got access to Mud Bomb. Before, it was always Earthquake, Stone Edge, and now it's a huge threat with the lower energy charge move. So we're going to go ahead and go for a Drill Run and then swap into Clefable here, because the Moonblast should be enough to KO from this range, especially since it's Shadow. Now, I don't think that was enough for, or I was praying that it wasn't going to be a Sludge Bomb, right? It does have access to Sludge Bomb, so I was praying that, you know what, it's not going to have it. It's going to be a Stone Edge or Mud Bomb. And we get a shield right there with Moonblast as well. So thankfully they weren't running Sludge Bomb, but I was ready. I was ready for it. Just in case it happened, I was just going to let it go. Now we let Clefable go down to the Mud Bomb right there. Because I wouldn't have really gotten us a huge advantage. Instead, I'm going to come in with Charizard and load up on energy, because Quagsire has to land a Stone Edge in order to take me out. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep loading up on energy. It was a Mud Bomb right there. And now I decide to, I'm going to have to no-shield this one. I don't think it was enough for Stone Edge. I think it was a bit early, and it was just another Mud Bomb, which is fine. We have a lot of energy, and Galvantula's coming back in. So we're going to go ahead and go for double Blast Burn right here. Obviously, this one-shots if they decide to let it go. We have so much energy. Boom! One-shots, and the final Pokemon is actually going to be a Shadow Machamp. So we're going to go ahead and go for double Dragon Claws right here, or a Dragon Claw and a Blast Burn. And we will be able to get to it in time. I can safely shield the charge move, as Machamp doesn't have enough energy for double Cross Chop. So we can easily go for this Blast Burn, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. So Charizard, sweeping some teams right now. Did very well for me, and I honestly love it as one of my go-to flyers. Alright, getting into the next battle. We have Dunsparce on the lead versus Quagsire. So, obviously, there's probably going to be an anti-grass in the back, and my hope, or what we're going to have to play with, is the fact that Dunsparce might be the counter to that, right? If it's a flyer or something. But we do have good Pokemon with Charizard and Clefable to have that neutral damage. And we're also going to risk it with the Clefable here, as we're going to be potentially no-shielding a Sludge Bomb. We're going to go ahead and let this next Mud Bomb go through. And then we're going to look to go for these Drill Runs to do neutral damage. And then look to go into our Clefable here soon. So we land the first one. We're going to go ahead and go for the second one. And then we're going to be swapping into Clefable, because once again, I am concerned that there is a flyer or an ice type in the back. So we're going to go ahead and swap out into Clefable and play the risk it for the biscuit game. Is this a Sludge Bomb? I don't think it will be, and it is just Mud Bomb, which is totally fine. Now we do see a Drapion come in, so we're going to go ahead and go for the Moonblast here. I'm really hoping for the debuff. I would love to get that attack debuff, and it does land. Look at how much, so much damage. Now, this is obviously going to be a Crunch or an Aqua Tail. It would be Crunch if they had Sludge Bomb, and since it's Aqua Tail, we survive. And thankfully, they have to throw another charge move in order to take us out. So I'm going to go ahead and no-shield it. I wouldn't really get much there from shielding and going for the... I would just get farmed down by Drapion, basically. But now I can come in with Charizard and look to load up on energy, as I will safely shield this first Aqua Tail. And we should be able to farm down right here in time, which we do. Now we have so much energy. Remember, Quagsire is extremely low, and they decide to come back in. So I'm going to go ahead and swap into Dunsparce, knowing that, you know what, they're very close to a Stone Edge, and I don't want to have to give up a shield, but they have a Scrafty in the back, which is something I was not anticipating. If you think about the pairing of Scrafty and Quagsire, that's not something that I saw coming. So, we have to go for Dragon Claw here. We get a shield, And we also have to call the power-up punch. If it's foul play, it's over. And it was a power-up punch. Perfect! So now we have a huge win condition. We're going to go ahead and go for Dragon Claw. And then if they decide to shield, which they do, we're going to look to go for Blast Burn as we do get to it in time. Now, had they gone for foul play, I think that would have done enough damage along with counters in order to take us out. It would have been incredibly close, but we can safely shield here as the Quagsire does have a Stone Edge, and now we can farm down with Wing Attack, and that is going to be a good battle. So a very risky game right there, but it paid off for us. Good battle. All right, moving into the next one. We have Dunsparce on the lead versus Chestnut. So a tough lead right here. We're going to have to go into the Clefable, and we do see that is a Vine Whip Chestnut. That's going to be good to note later. And they come in with a Pidgeot, which... Clefable can clap this thing. I'm just going to be straight honest with you. Clefable can go to town here on a Pidgeot, especially if they decide to go for Brave Bird, because I'm taking Switch right now 100%. I'm going to go ahead and shield. It was a Brave Bird, which means we fully farm down with Fairy Wind. And this is, I've put my opponent in a very tough position now, because they can't come in with Chestnut, which if they do... So they do come in with Chestnut. I'm going to go ahead and go for Moonblast. I could have gotten away with going for a Meteor Mash, maybe back-to-back Meteor Mashes, but I went for the Moonblast and hoped that I could get to another one, but they did get a couple fast moves when I swapped in, so that's okay. We're going to go ahead and let this go, and then we're going to come in with Charizard now, and the final Pokemon is going to be Regirock, and this is a tough situation. You're seeing what I'm seeing. This Regirock has access to Focus Blast and Stone Edge. So I'm going to no shield. And it is a Focus Blast. And Dunsparce almost gets one shot. This is very close. This is going to be a close game. We're going to go ahead and go for Drill Run here. It does super effective damage. We get to another one in time, forcing the final shield of this game. And now it's going to be up to Charizard in order to win. Stone Edge. They get to it very quickly. Lock on and Stone Edge is incredibly quick. So we have to shield, obviously. And now we got to desperately get to this Blast Burn. Dragon Claw would not be enough damage right there. Blast Burn, even though it is resisted, is going to be enough. So we take it out. And the final Pokemon is going to be the Chestnut. And they do decide to surrender. So that is going to be a good battle. Very well played. All right, moving to the next one. We got Dunsparce on the lead versus Dugong. So, pretty positive lead matchup right here, and they're deciding to stay in, which can prove troublesome, right? If they are weak in the back to Dunsparce, you have to begin to question what Pokemon is in the back, and my guess was it's going to be a Flyer, and especially since we got a shield there early, whatever Flyer it is, Charizard and Clefable can pretty much handle it, right? It doesn't really matter. There's no Flyer out there that they can't handle together. So we're going to go ahead and stay in with Dunsparce here against the Dugong. We will let this charge move go through, and then I'm going to look to come in with Clefable now. Oops, there we go. We did a fast move there, and we bring out a Ferrothorn. So that is now 2 Pokemon weak to fighting, right? If you got Dugong and you got Ferrothorn. Now I'm going for Moonblast here. The Meteor Mash and Moonblast are both resisted, but the Moonblast at least is stab and has a chance to debuff. And they have a Flash Cannon. Boom! Alright, I was not expecting that. I was expecting the Power Whip. So that hurt, but now Charizard has an opportunity to win this game. And remember, my thought process here, right? If they have a Dugong and they have a Ferrothorn, they have to have an anti-fighter in the back. And since they stayed in against Dunsparce, my guess is going to be a Flyer. So we're going to have to play to that accordingly and let Charizard potentially sweep. So we go for a Dragon Claw here. They decide to no shield, so now I have to swap into Dunsparce to catch the energy because I don't want to be giving up my final shield as we do stop the Flash Cannon. In comes the Dugong, so I think we're looking pretty good. I don't know, still don't know what's in the back. We go for Dragon Claw. They no shield it, so I'm going to go ahead and go for another one before I get hit with an Icy Wind because I have no way to clear the debuff. We get a shield as well, and now I'm starting to think, what if they have a fighter in the back, right? What if they got a Toxicroak or something? So we're going to go ahead and commit to the farm down. I'm excited. We got Blast Burn, we got energy, and it's a It's a Toxapex. I surrender. That is going to be a good... I don't surrender often, but I'm like, I did not see that coming. So, pretty interesting team there from my opponent, but they got me. All right, we got Shadow Hypno here on the lead. So we're going to have to try to do... I always like to keep Dunsparce alive. I don't know if you guys have been noticing that, but it's perfect for close endgame charge moves because of the energy game and coverage. It's perfect for sacrificial swaps. So I'm going to try to utilize that as best as I can, as we're going to go ahead and let this first one go through. It's going to be a Thunder Punch. All right, so we know they got Thunder Punch, and we're also going to guess that they have Shadow Ball is going to be the call here. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Drill Run now, trying to force a shield, which we do get. Now we're going to go into Clefable to start getting ahead on energy. I do think they have Shadow Ball, so I'm going to go ahead and shield, but unfortunately it was just an Ice Punch. So they actually are running Double Punch, and they bring in a shiny Alolan Sandslash, which is very cool, but Meteor Mash here does neutral damage. Ice Steel typing, remember, in about 50%. Now this is a Powder Snow Sandslash as well. I mean, Shadow Claw and Powder Snow both gain good amount of energy, but they shouldn't be able to get to 2 Ice Punches in time, as we can get to another Meteor Mash. So this is going to be perfect if we get, or we take out the Sandslash, which we do, because now Hypno coming back in is going to have to throw a charge move before we get Meteor Mash, or we see that final Pokemon. So Hypno does decide to come in, and they will throw, which is perfect. Now they're out of energy, which I'm totally fine with. Our Dunsparce is relatively low, but it's perfect for sacrificial swap. And the final Pokemon is a Ferrothorn. So a little bit of payback here from the last battle. I'm going to go ahead and shield. Now, if it's Mirror Shot, we're in trouble. It was a Thunder, so that's perfectly fine. If it was Mirror Shot, then I would have to catch the Thunder on a sack swap, right? But in this case, I can go for back-to-back Blast Burns in order to win this game. And that is going to be a good battle. Shadow Hypno doesn't have any energy. They are out of shields. Boom! Down goes the Ferrothorn, and Charizard now is going to do a nice little sweep of this team with Dragon Claw. So overall today, Charizard did incredibly well. Dunsparce did well for me, but obviously taken by surprise by that Toxapex team, which was really interesting. And then Clefable is just all 3 Pokemon. If you guys haven't built them already, very strong in general. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you guys think about the team. And like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.